The head of the RCMP is asking the Mounties watchdog to look into whether the force was justified in seizing guns found while searching evacuated houses during the flooding crisis in High River. CTV's Mercedes Stevenson joins us from Ottawa. She's following this story. So, Mercedes, what can you tell us about this request from Commissioner Paulson?
Well, Amanda, you may remember some residents of High River were outraged when the RCMP entered their homes and seized firearms that they said were not properly secured. Today, a letter from the RCMP commissioner to the watchdog that oversees the police agency asking him to initiate his own probe into this. So this is actually the commissioner of the RCMP asking that his own police force be investigated. I'm going to show you a bit. We have here a graphic from his letter of what he's asking. He says, "I am writing today, therefore, to ask you if you would consider a chair-initiated complaint to permit you to investigate our actions in High River, to assess if they were well-founded, reasonably executed, and in accordance with our policies." Amanda, this letter also goes on to talk about the media coverage that has covered all of these complaints, and he says that is what has prompted him to ask the RCMP watchdog to determine whether or not essentially they were justified in seizing those firearms.
Okay, and this comes after the Prime Minister's office got involved. I mean, remind us what they said.
Well, you may remember the Prime Minister's office talked about, they said, look, this is provincial jurisdiction, but then in the same breath, Amanda, they said that the RCMP, it seemed to them, really must have better things to do than to seize these firearms. And it was very controversial in Alberta, with some politicians saying, look, it was necessary, it's an emergency situation, this is standard procedure, and some of these homeowners saying, look, my home wasn't even flooded. Why did the RCMP go in and take my firearm? The RCMP saying they were worried about looters, and that was their justification for taking these firearms. So still a very sensitive issue in Alberta. I was just out there this weekend, Amanda, and I can tell you a lot of people talking about it.
And sorry, do we know if these people have been given those firearms back?
I don't know, Amanda.
Okay.
I know the RCMP said they were certainly planning to give them back to them, but I'm not sure about the status of who may have them back. And in fact, Wild Rose's leader, Danielle Smith, tweeted about it and said she didn't mind them being taken under the circumstances as long as people got their lawful property returned.
Interesting. All right. Thanks so much, Mercedes. CTV's Mercedes
You're welcome.
Stevenson from Ottawa.